All right, here we go. Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of, I don't know what it is, the Curved Cabinets of Benbow meet the Two-Tip Tuesday. So for the Curved Cabinets of Benbow, I need to make probably 22 different raised panels. And I don't have a shaper anymore because I sold it because I never use it because I don't really do raised panel doors. So what I do have is my router table that sits under this bench. That's been here for a million years. I built it 20 some odd years ago. Still has the same router in it. That's not good. But today we're going to revitalize the whole thing, take it apart, and beef it up so we can actually make raised panels for the Curved Cabinets of Benbow. So in today's video, we're going to show you, I'm going to go over how I make my little tiny 2x3 router table into a 6-foot long monster. Yeah! We're going to put a new fence on it. We're going to put some removable wings on it. We're going to put a dust collector in the fence so we can have a sucker upper for old squeakers. And then after we get done with all that, I'm going to show you how I go about shaping these little panels. I've got panels that are itty bitty little tiny things to ones that are over 33 inches long. So here we go. We're going to revitalize the old router table. The Curved Cabinets of Benbow meet the Two-Tip Tuesday on revitalizing your router table. Yeah. Hey everybody, Mr. Kevin here, and welcome to my 400-year-old router table. I've got the raised panel bit in there, brand new. I'm not sure if this old Porter cable router is going to be able to operate this thing, so I'm going to plug it in real quick. Okay, here we go. So I built this fence quite a long time ago, probably 15 years ago. I got to make it a little bigger because this bit is larger than that hole. And I'll clamp the fence on here and I'll make it flush with the this front of the bearing, and we'll run a bunch of these panels that we have over there. Yeah, this is going to be exciting. I'm not going to use a shaper. I'm going to show you if you can make one of these things. It cost me, the only thing it cost me was this Rousseau insert, and I bought it a million years ago. It's broken even. Over here it's busted. I break everything. But, you know, it should still work. We're going to give it a shot. I'm going to add these pieces that I cut earlier onto the ends here because I have to make a couple of raised panels that are 33 inches long. So we have 33-inch panels that we have to make. Yeah, and I just want to have an outrigger out here so it'll hold it out there. So I'm going to take this piece here and I'm going to domino it onto here. I'm going to put a cleat underneath it like this. So it'll kind of give it a little bit more strength to hold it up. And then I'm going to put a little floppy leg out on the end just to hold it up so I can, you know, push on it. I have to worry about the raised panel flopping off and all that. So that's what we're going to do first. If you're at home and you don't have thousands of dollars for your own shaper, I'm going to show you how you do it just with a old plywood scrap-made router table. Here we go. This is going to be fun. All right, I'm going to domino this all up, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. All right, I'll see you in a minute. So I've spent about an hour beefing up my 20-year-old router table. I put little wings on it. This one I attached already. I forgot to show everybody. It's fairly strong. I was amazed. It's fairly flat. Then I started putting this one together, and I thought, well, I'll just show you how it goes together. It's all made out of scrap. And all I did was just take 2 pieces of cherry, put a cleat on the top, screwed this one down here, right? I set my square at like a 5/8, and that way I have this leg a little lower than it should be, right? So nothing butts into it. I dominoed the whole kit and caboodle here. I used the piece of scrap from this here, put it underneath here, put a bunch of screws in it, like a 5-screw pattern, 2, 2, and 1 in the middle. Hunk of 8-quarter cherry underneath, screwed that to that, screwed the 8-quarter to the side leg here. And all I'm going to do now is put this together. I can get it in there. So I'm going to put the screws in underneath here, 1 1/4 screws that'll hold this together. and it'll be, it's pretty solid. You can tell by the sound when it's done. Yeah, this side's up a little high. That'll be okay though, I guess. And that side's pretty good. That probably has to do with the carpet. What I'm going to do with this Johnson here, do I even want to use this? I'm going to make another, I'm just going to make another fence. Because I kind of want to put a dust collector sucker upper like on the back of it.
Okay.
So if you ever want to, you know, if you ever make yourself a little router table, and literally this thing's 20 years old, and just get some, let's see, how do I flip this over? That's what it looks like. I just put some scrap plywood wings on it. Piece of 8/4 underneath. You know, with the cleat underneath it. Here, I'll flip it over so you can see it. Never mind the spider webs, because there's tons of them. Yeah. You see how easy that's built? Just scrap cherry, screwed on. There's a 5-screw pattern under here, a hunk of plywood, with a piece of 8/4 cherry right here. Good golly, now it's getting heavy. There it is, 8/4 cherry. That's screwed from the top of this down into there, and this has got screws going into the side legs. Yeah, it's a pretty simple little thing. I think it took me 45 minutes to put it all together after I cut it and did whatever I had to. It took longer to domino the thing than to screw it together. So we're souping up our old router table right here. So I started making a fence last night, and I thought to myself, well, maybe maybe they want to see how a fence is made. So if you want to see how a fence is made, and even if you don't, we're going to make a fence with a little dust collector sucker upper in it that you could put on anything. Mainly router tables though. But if you had a router table or a router table, you can make a fence for your router table. Oh, I guess this is a fence for the router table with a little suction hole. So here's the old one I had. And this fit on here just like that. And I would clamp it down. So this fence is going to go over there. So I needed a fence that was 48 inches long. And I cut it in half because I don't want this big, huge piece just sitting around in my shop. So the face of this fence will be exactly flush with this roller bearing right here. I measured over from the back of this to the back of the little wings, and I got 4 inches. So this is just a little 4-inch piece by 15 of cherry scrap plywood. Easy enough. We have the base here. Now we have a little side piece that was left over from these. This is going to be screwed from this face into this base, and from this face here on my side into this block here. And then I'm going to add little 45-degree blocks on top of that, somewhere over here, but bigger than this. I just haven't made them yet. And somewhere over there, so this whole thing stays square. And I'm going to repeat the same process on this side over here. All right, now I got it. Now's where it gets complicated. This goes on my vacuum hose, which is a 4-inch hose. This is a reducer, which used to slide another piece over the top of that. So I took a bit, because what I'm going to do is I want to hook this up to the dust collector, right? My big old dust collector, old squeakers over there. I'm going to hook her up to here, boom, stick it on here. I needed something to hold it into, so I made this right here. And this is a 4-inch wide block that is got two 30-degree cuts on it. 30-degree cuts. So old squeakers are going to be hooked up to this guy right here. That's going to go in like that. And this is going to sit flush with this here. All right, so it's going to sit like that. The dust collector hose is going to right in there. And I'm thinking about filling this little space in here because the dust is going to get stuck in there anyway, but whatever. I cut two 30-degree angles on this. And what we have to do is this is going to go on there like that. Boom, right? And then I'm just going to cut this square to 90 degrees. Cut that at 90 degrees here, 90 degrees here, put one on either side, screw it from this side in there. So it'll be up against the fence like that. That's pretty cool. And then to top it all off, I got this little scrap piece is going to go right on the very top like that. And I'll screw this down into there and onto the top of the fence. Voila, it's done. And you can do this all too, out of scrap. Didn't cost me a dime except, 30 minutes of me figuring out what I wanted. I made a little picture. As always, I don't spend a lot of time doing much of anything on a computer because I think it's dumb. If you can't draw it by hand and figure out what you need, then start over. The angle, 30-degree angle, came from me using my angle finder here. I just wanted to figure out what the angle would be and all that. So this would get as close as I can to the router bit without it touching. And that's what I did. So this went from this and used this guy right here. Burk, burk, burk. Yeah, like that. And lift it up like that. Boom. And I said, what is that? And it's the miter, and it says it's 30 degrees. So I chopped it all on my chop saw, 30 degrees. Bing, bang, boom. Chop this, 30 degrees. That's 30 degrees. And these are 30 degrees. So this will be attached on here like that. This is backwards and upside down. Boom, this will be like this here. Boom. So there we go. That's this is the fence. Quick and easy little thing. Mitered thing here. Scrap, scrap, scrap. Drilled a hole with the... Oh, the other thing was this. I only had a 2 5/8 inch hole. This is 2 1/2. So I took some Gorilla tape, wrapped it around there, and kind of pushed it in the inside until it actually fit. So now it won't come out that easy, and it's more tighter and suck up more stuff. Yeah, there we go. So here's the router table that we've refurbished after 20 years of sitting under the bench.
It's like magic.
I had to switch out the router itself with another Porter cable router because the router bit on the other one was non-adjustable. And with a bit that's 3 1/2 inches around, or 4 inches, whatever that is, that raised panel cutter, you want to slow it down. You don't want it spinning at 23,000 RPMs. You want it down around, I don't know, 15, 20. So this is set at 16,000 RPMs right now.
Awesome.
Just because I don't want it spinning so fast. It's such a big hunk of metal, and the faster it spins, the more it burns. I'd rather have it cut a little slower than fast. So we added the outriggers. We've added legs to the outside of that. We built our little fence, and here we are. Yesterday I started shaping all the raised panels. Ooh. I mean, some of them are tiny, like this little guy right here.
Oh my goodness.
And you know, they vary in length and size, and some are skinny and long like this. And you got bigger ones down here that are, these are the doors for the storage cabinet. And I have to do a final pass on them. And I always start out when I'm doing raised panels, I just start out with kind of a medium cut, take off about 1/4 of an inch, and that's basically what I cut off there, maybe a little more. When I was doing my experiments, when I was running this thing through after I built my fence, I realized that this had a huge dish in it. So I actually took some edge tape, the edge tape you use on a shelf, like you put edge tape on there, sticky edge tape. I put that on the inside in here. I put a beefy piece of 8/4 cherry here in the front and one in the back. So this thing is like concrete now, and it's a little flatter. It's still a little weird, but it's flatter. I also built my own, I guess guide you would call it. Here it is right here. It's just a piece of scrap, all screwed together, all cherry leftover scrap that I had. I use this for underneath here so it wouldn't raise up, and it runs nice and smooth all the way through. So this goes on here, and it's got a little handle on it. And the way this operates, especially when you're doing small pieces like this, see how small that is? You always cut the end grain first when you're doing a raised panel. End grain first, flip it around, do the other end grain. All right, and then you come and you do the straight grain last. Straight grain last. All right, and I cut this all the way through, but I don't always go through. Usually once I get past the cutter, I just pull it out and flip it over and do it again. But cutting this all the way through the first time is a good idea. These are all clamped into place. I have them straight and parallel with the roller in the front. Listen, hear that? It barely hits the bearing. So the bearing is about a 32nd of an inch proud of this fence. I'd rather have it rolling on the bearing than not rolling at all. And yeah, that way I know they're all going to be exactly the same because it's coming off that bearing. Okay, so we can use this right here to get our measurement for our cut. We just have to remember it's a 32nd smaller. So the thickness of this plywood is like 23 32nds, and this is 24 32nds, or 3/4 of an inch. Yeah, so it's a little narrower. So we're gonna move this up just a little bit, and as soon as I get all dialed in, I'm gonna show you how this thing operates, and it's very loud. The dust collector works pretty good. There's still some of the crap comes out the bottom, and there's nothing you can do about that. So I'm gonna shut you off for a second. I'm gonna get this all figured out, and I'll be right back. All right, well, I got one. Can you see it? Let's see. There it is. Look how tiny that thing is.
Aww.
Itty bitty little tiny thing. When you do something this small, this end is down. So you have to push right in the center. I'm just pushing down right here on this little flat part right there. So yeah, you could have problems. So there we go. One little tiny one. So I'm going to go back over here now. Thank you. So I'm still going to mic things. I'm going to do another one. I'm going to test it. This creates quite a vibration with all the sucker and the vibrating and the big bit here and all that stuff. I have it hooked up to my table down here, so when I flip this switch, it'll come on instead of having to reach down under here, which I can't see where the button is because it's on the other side. We have our little push stick with the actual shape cut into it all the way through. So when I run it through like this, it doesn't hit it. And this is also, if you notice, it's short of the fence because of this fence right here. And I wanted it that way. I didn't want it up against the fence. I wanted it about an eighth of an inch away because you don't need it right up against the fence. No good. Okay, here we go. I'll do the small ones first and keep your fingers crossed. Hopefully everything goes okay. So the ends are right at a quarter, and this is 32nd under. It's okay. Yeah. All right. Look how small that raised part is. If you had a fingerboard pushing down or a feather board, it would want to push this crooked and it would dig in, and that wouldn't be good. Man, all right. Look at that, isn't it pretty? I love cherry. Ah, it smells so good. It's awesome. Here, I'm gonna get on this side so you can see it better. Okay, you see the grain? See how it's burning? Ooh. All right, that's because the grain, the way the cutter is cutting and the way the grain is going, it's going the wrong direction. And you have to be really careful with grain direction when you're shaping things, especially with a big cutter, because it'll want to blow out your parts. If you have a shaper with a power feed on it, go as slow as you possibly can. You don't want to go super fast. And there's a few things we have to fix, like down in here, they're offset a little bit because it's just the way it is. It's not too bad at all. It's all within sanding. It's all sandable. There you go. Raised panel cutter on an old 20-year-old router table. Been restored, refurbished, rebuilt, beefed up. So it's just, it's solid. And the outriggers are all good. They're all flat. This is flat and completely flat. And clamped down into place and good to go. So you too can also do this too. It's not hard. If I could do it, you could do it. Oh man, all right. My battery's gonna croak. So hey, if I can do it and you can do it. And you've seen all the steps on how to make this thing work and how I went about doing it. And it's now, 6 feet long and a foot deep or whatever, and I can shape anything on it that I want to. All right. Have an awesome day. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. Subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, fling, fling, bang, bang. Yeah, you have an awesome day. Go outside and play. Hug somebody you love, and see you next time right here on Woodworking with Mr. Kevin. All right, bye. Battery's dying. Okay, I'm good. Boy, there's a huge horsefly in here. Maybe my breath will kill it. Dummy. All right, we got to take care of that son of a bitch right there. Hold on. I need to do the scrapes. Ugh, I'm getting hungry. Yeah, there he is. Oh, sorry. I'm going to kill that fly. Anybody got any simple green? We'll just squirt them and it'll be like, dead. Hey, everybody, and welcome to another table saw time with Mr. Kevin, which this is not. Now I'm done looking having a brain fart. Brain fart. Huh. Jelly beans are good. Sugar make you crazy. Huh? Too late for me. Might as well just go down with the ship.